Hey guys, welcome back. This is Brown from the BTNHD, and yes, super excited. MDT, Microsoft released a new version of it. How cool is that? It looks like they're getting away with the 2013 and 2010 kind of number, and they're doing what they're actually doing with Windows 10 build numbers, and it's all about MDT build 8443. How awesome is that? So today's video is all about installing, configuring. We're going to create a task sequence. We're going to import an operating system. We're just going to basically start fresh, okay? So I'm going to place this link at the bottom of the video at the description so you guys can get a copy of MDT build 8443. I got to get used to that build 8443. And you also have to get the latest and greatest ADK for Windows 10 version 1607, okay? A couple kind of big changes with MDT. It supports configuration updates for Windows ADK for Windows 10 version 1607, which is the latest version for Windows 10. Awesome. Windows Server 2016. Awesome. Configuration Manager version 1606, which I'm getting there with my SCCM playlist. You got a couple of other quality updates, Deployment Wizard scaling for high DPI devices, and other good stuff. But again, I'm going to place the link at the bottom of the description so you guys can actually go click on these two links to get the copies so you can follow the video. So let's go inside my server. And I am actually running Windows Server 2016 right now. I have the standard version. And I already have the ADK setup stuff, and I have my MDT Deployment Toolkit 64-bit. The way I like to do it is install the ADK setup first, then install the Microsoft deployment, because I believe the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit tries to locate the ADK files to make sure it's going to work properly. I don't know if it does it during the installation or when you're creating the deployment share. I believe it does check if you had the ADK stuff when you're creating the deployment share. I think that's how it does it. So I'm actually going to do the ADK setup first. So I'm going to double click on it. And if you highlight it, it's actually going to tell you the version. I just saw the version of it. There you go. See, version 10.1.1.14.393. That's the version that the site actually tells you to get. Now, it's 4.3 gigs that you need within your environment. This is a fresh virtual machine that I created not too long ago. I'm super excited. So we are going to click on next. I'm going to say no on this, and we're going to click next. And the license agreement, if you have time and patience, read all this. I'm just going to say accept. And by default, this is everything that you're going to get. This is what 4.3 gigs look like. I'm going to leave everything as the default. And I'm pretty excited of a couple of things. I'm excited about this right here, Microsoft User Experience Virtualization UE-V templates. Oh, awesome. And I'm also excited about Microsoft Application Virtualization, which is Adk Sequencer. I'm a huge fan with Adk, and I'm super excited that I could get back into Adk because I've done it in the past. So we are going to click on install, and this process takes a while. So go get a cup of coffee or get something to eat or munch on, and hopefully once it's done, we will continue our installation part. Alright guys, so our Windows ADK for Windows 10 is completed successfully. This is always a good thing. I'm happy. So we are going to close this up, and if you want, you could click on the start, and you're going to see a bunch of cool new things. Awesome. Here goes your Windows kits and all the good stuff that we're going to be using pretty soon. Alright, so let's get out of that, and what we're going to do is start our MDT. Remember, build 8443. I definitely need to get used to that. So let's double click on that, and here it goes, 8443. And let's click on next, accept that, click on next, and I'm gonna leave everything as the default. Click next. I don't want to join the program, so we are going to click next and install. I think the only part that's going to take the longest is the ADK setup, and finish on that, and we're done. Not yet. So let's click on the start. Within the start menu, you're going to see Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. All right, so what I normally like to do once my MDT is completed, I like to do a nice little restart of the machine. So we are going to send a Control-Delete, and we're just going to restart the machine. And it's not something that Microsoft tells you to do. I like to do it myself. You install Adk and then you install MDT. Just do a nice little restart. Flush everything out of your system. Once the restart is completed, we are going to get inside our MDT deployment environment so we could create our our node and get started. Awesome. So once you're inside your desktop, what we're going to do is click on the start menu, and we should locate that Microsoft Deployment Toolkit folder. So we're going to click on it, and it should expand. Now, if by any chance you install your MDT build 8443 and the folder doesn't open, just restart your machine. This is the reason why I like to restart the machine. And what we need to do is click on that deployment workbench. So click on that, and once it opens up and it loads up on the taskbar, I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to pin it to the taskbar because I'm definitely going to be using that a lot. And what we need to do is within our deployment share, let's create a deployment share, right? So let's right click on it and do a new deployment share and see how it looks. So I'm gonna leave it as the default. As all my videos, I normally leave it as the default. Best practice is to put it into a separate partition, because again, your deployment share gets a little bigger, especially if you're putting a lot of WIM images, like a capture images and all that stuff, and you're building like scripts and customizing packages and all that good stuff, right? So I'm gonna leave it as the default for now and click on next. Definitely gonna leave it and click on next. And this is definitely gonna be the name of my deployment share, but you could change it. It's up to you. We're gonna click on next. And this is really up to you. I uncheck this. I uncheck all this stuff. I don't want it to ask to capture image, not as of yet. And the BitLocker stuff, not yet. Click on next. Nice little summary, and we click on next, and it's gonna do its thing. It's gonna copy everything that it needs inside our deployment share folder, and once it's completed, we're good to go. But before I hit finish, let's click on our File Explorer and click on this PC, C drive, and there goes our deployment share, what we have seen throughout all of our videos that we've done together. I think the only thing that I've noticed is this $OEM $. Now this is new to me. I've never seen this before, so correct me if I'm wrong. Have you guys seen this? I definitely haven't seen this within MDT 2013 update 2. So that's new. I wonder what that's gonna do. So we're gonna close that up and we're gonna click on finish, and we're going to expand our deployment share node and our new deployment share. Here goes. Very familiar, right? So what we're going to do is import an operating system. And as you know, I love creating folders. So let's right click on this guy and create a new folder together. So this is going to be server 2016. Yes. So we're going to click on next and next. Cool. And finish. Awesome. So I'm gonna right click on our new folder and let's import an operating system. So it's gonna be the full set of sources files. So we're gonna click on next on that, and the source directory. Now I already have the ISO mounted within my DVD drive, so we're gonna click on OK, and we're gonna click on next, and I'm gonna leave it as the default name, and we're gonna click on next, a nice little summary, and click on next. Now this process takes a while because again, it's an ISO, and the ISO normally is between 4 to 5 gigs. That 4 or 5 gigs is actually being imported inside your deployment share for it to work during the deployment time. Okay, it's capturing those files to push it out to your machine. All right, so the process completed successful. Always a great thing. Now before I click on finish, I want you guys to take a look at this. Now Windows Server 2016 imported the core, standard, data center core, and as well as the data center version. So those are the 4 copies that I'm going to see. So I'll click on finish, and as you guys can see, I'm going to see 4 copies, 4 versions. So that means I'm capable of choosing what version I want to push out specifically during the deployment time. So that's cool. So next thing that we need to do is create a task sequence. Now I'm gonna right click on the task sequence. Again, I love creating folders, but sometimes you don't need to create a task sequence. You probably need to import drivers. Now, because I'm testing everything within a virtual environment, I really don't need to do that. I'm not pushing any packages as of yet. Pretty soon I am, but I'm not doing it now. So I'm going to do the task sequence part. So right click on that. I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it Windows Server 2016 x64, okay? Because it's a 64-bit version that I'm pushing out. And we're going to click on next and next and finish. Cool. So we're going to expand our task sequence node, and within our new folder, we're going to right click on it and go to new task sequence. Now, with all my task sequence ID, I like to start with numbers. This is really up to you. You could do letters if you want. So I'm going to start with 0001. And the task sequence name is going to be Windows Server 2016 STD because it's standard task sequence, and I'm going to be BTNHD, right? And we're going to click on next. Cool. Now by default, you're going to get a standard client task sequence. That basically means that you're going to have a deployment that's going to check everything. It's going to import the drivers. It's going to format the hard drive depending on what kind of hard drive you have, either BIOS setting or UEFI setting. And then it's going to install the operating system. Then it's going to reboot. And once it reboots, if you have applications, it's going to push out all that good stuff. All right, so I want to click on the drop-down menu. And it does look like build 8443 has a couple of new items here. I'm not too sure, so I have to double check. But hopefully in the future, I'm going to go over each one and do a video for you guys. So that'd be really cool. So let's click on next. We're going to keep it as a standard client task sequence. And let's select an operating system. Now the operating system that I would like to push out is definitely going to be non-core for now. So we're going to push out the standard version, and we're going to click on next. I'm not going to specify a key, so we're going to click on next, and we're going to give it OS settings. So it's going to be BJ Tech News HD, organization BTNHD, and we're going to point it to our site. Okay, cool. And let's click on next. Definitely add an administrative password, and you remember that admin password. Make sure you share it to your IT group. Click on next. A nice little summary, and click on next. And this process is really fast, and we're going to click finish. So let's double click on our new task sequence within our MDT build 8443. Definitely got to get used to that. And there it goes. Super excited. I have to actually play around and see what's new in here. I know there's a couple of new items within here, but you just got to go in here and start playing around. I'm really happy that Microsoft is actually upgrading MDT. I'm not going to push out this task sequence as of yet. I think on the next video, I'm going to configure my Windows Server 2016 with WDS because that's the way I love deploying during Pixie Boot. And that's going to be that video series. And then I'll probably do a little bit of like a reference capture within Server 2016. That'd be pretty awesome. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Leave comments right below. Don't forget about hitting that like button because it does support the MDT videos. The more likes that I get, the more comments, the more I push out to you guys. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.